I'm going to tell you a story of how crochet saved my sanity. So guys, time for a little bit of background story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I started to learn crochet, the ups and downs, and then finally the big reason why I crochet today. So if you're willing to listen, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. So guys, let's get into it. I started crocheting at the age of 21 because one day I just happened to walk into one of our stationery stores here in South Africa. I just happened to be browsing because I was on a lunch break and I came across this magazine. And I had a look and it looked really interesting, especially because there was yarn and a hook. So this magazine, which you can see right here, is the Knit and Stitch magazine. It would have two skeins of yarn in. It would have either a hook or even knitting needles, and the idea was that this magazine had a whole bunch of different patterns that you could even either knit or crochet. So I really got into this, and this is where I really started to find a love of crochet, because I love working with my hands, I love being artsy, I love being creative. So this was really fun for me, and it made it even more fun because I had people at work that were also interested in this. So we all bought our own issues and we were crocheting and knitting together while the little kids were sleeping. I would love to hear, guys, comment down below, what was your start? When did you begin crochet? How did you begin? Who brought the interest into your life? Please, I would love to hear. How did your crochet journey start? Alright, so unfortunately money got a little bit tight. I couldn't buy a magazine every week, and then eventually I ran out of issues of the magazine because I had too much of a backlog and they couldn't get me the previous issues. So eventually I had to stop. That project fell away and it is still sitting up in my cupboard, still undone since 2013. Yep, since 2013. So if you'd ever like to see it, guys, just pop a message down in the comments and let me know if you'd like to see this blanket that I haven't finished. Maybe I'll finish it one day once I've finished all the other projects I'm busy with. Let's just hope I can actually get through my blessings blanket that I'm trying to do, which is a year-long project. Let's hope I can get through that one. But I'm pushing through. I'm behind on the crochet part, but I'm keeping the notes up. So let's hope I can finish it. Alright guys, so now I think I crocheted for about a year or two, and then came colleagues and friends who just one day out of the blue said, I want to learn how to crochet. And I was like, oh, I actually know how to do that. Like, I could totally teach you. So what did I do? I brought spare crochet hooks and spare yarn, and I'm like, yeah, when it's our lunch break, let's jump in and let's learn. So I taught them the basics and they were really enjoying it. And then I'm like, okay, there's YouTube videos, there's lots of people who can teach you how to make different things if you want to have a look at that. But then, you know, my friends wanted to learn how to read patterns. So I taught them how to read patterns slowly because I taught myself how to read patterns using those magazines. Then the crochet fell away again because I started to study for my teaching degree and it was just too hectic. I was working and studying at the same time and it was too crazy, so the crochet fell away. Then I resigned from my job I stayed at home and I was studying, but when I wasn't studying, what was I going to do? So I decided I was going to go back to my crochet. And this time I decided I was going to start a business. So I tried, but yeah, the business didn't really take off. Then again, I also didn't have huge amounts of time to commit to it because I was studying for my degree. Time seems to be a real problem for me. Let me know down in the comments, guys. Do you have time to crochet? When do you crochet? How long are you able to crochet? I'd love to know. So after that, I fell pregnant with my first child. And once again, I picked up crochet because I really wanted to crochet a beautiful blanket for my daughter. And then, you know, I've always been someone that's crocheted things for other people, never myself. The blessings blanket is the first thing I'm ever crocheting for myself. And that's like since 2013. I think it's about time I make something for myself. And then after that, it didn't come back into my life again until 2 years later when I fell pregnant with my son. And one day my daughter said, "Mummy, my ears are cold." I was like, I have yarn. I can make you a beanie, my child. And so I did. And that's where I picked up my crochet again. But I was also not super committed to it until my son was born. Now remember at the beginning of this video where I said crochet saved my sanity? This is where we get to the nitty-gritty. Crochet saved my sanity because bringing my son home from the hospital was one of the most stressful times of my life. I brought my son home and my daughter was sick with high fevers. She wasn't eating. She was crying for me. My son, my newborn son, was crying for me. But now because my daughter was sick, I was trying to keep my son away from her. I didn't want him to get sick. And my husband was exhausted and I was exhausted. And that very first night, that's what's happening, that very first night I brought him home. I couldn't handle it anymore. My children were still screaming and crying by 10 o'clock at night. I called my mother-in-law and I said, "Please come and help me. I need help. I can't do this." Being the amazing person that she is, she drove to my place at 10 o'clock at night to come and help me with my 2 kids. And she stayed. She stayed until 1 in the morning. And I had to chase her home. I had to chase her home. And she was here the next day, guys. She was here the next morning at 7 o'clock in the morning to come and help me and my husband. She looked after the kids while we went and took a nap. So to get back to how crochet saved my sanity. Ever since that night, every single night for 4 or 5 months, I would see it getting dark outside. And I started to feel panicky. Like, guys, like heart pounding, hyperventilating, like, I can't do this. What's going to happen tonight? No, I'm scared for tonight. It can't be nighttime. Something bad's going to happen. Every single night for 4 or 5 months, guys, I would panic. I would panic. So I was alone during a day with a newborn child. And then on top of that, he was sick at 10 days old. I had to rush him to the doctor at 10 days old because that night he wasn't breathing properly and his heart was racing. And then when my son was about 2 weeks old, I went to a family gathering, and they are all people who are inquisitive and They love having intelligent conversations, and they love watching YouTube videos and reading research papers and things that teach them things. They find it interesting about many different topics. And I was sitting there and I was listening to what they were talking about, and I was just thinking to myself, maybe I should start watching things and reading things about more than what I already do. So I decided one day when I was alone that I was going to put on YouTube, and I was going to try and find something that I was interested in and learn about it. And then I turned on the TV that day and I look up YouTube videos on crochet, and you'll never guess who I found. I found a video by Elise from Elise Rose Crochet, and I watched it. And this woman, she was amazing, and she rekindled my love of crochet. So as I watched her videos, I started to crochet. Every spare minute I got, guys. Nighttime after I managed to get the kids down, during the day when my baby was asleep, every spare minute I crocheted while I watched her videos. And I started to feel like I was going to come out on top of this situation, on top of this stress, because the crochet just, I can't explain it, guys. It's so therapeutic, it's so relaxing. Just doing something with my hands, crocheting with my hands, the feel of that yarn, the control of the hook in my hand, the way it clears your mind, guys. You're concentrating on making something, and in the meantime it's clearing your mind. You're thinking through all of your stress, you're thinking through all of your problems, you're thinking random things, you're thinking about new projects. I started to feel better. I started to feel like I could take on nighttime with my 2 small children. I started to feel like I was coming alive again, and I wasn't a nervous wreck. All thanks to Elise Rose from Elise Rose Crochet and crocheting myself. And yes, maybe my story is not unique and my story is not very interesting, but for me, I cannot tell you what crochet means to me, because it helped me. Even now, after I'm a qualified teacher and I've got an amazing job and I love my work, after a hectic day, once the kids are going home, I sit there. If I don't have any work, I sit there, I pull out my crochet and I decompress, and I crochet for just half an hour after a work day. Then I'm ready to come home and I'm ready to hit the ground running, get my house ready, get food done, go pick up my children from school, wait for my husband to come home and be finished working. Like, guys, if you have never crocheted and you're a ball of stress or a ball of worry, if you need something to do, pick it up. Pick up that crochet. Even if you just make squares, guys, just plain single crochet squares, and you put them all together into a blanket, into cushion covers, into a table runner. Guys, crochet is worth it. So go find your person, go find your inspiration, go find your person to teach you how. Crochet saved my sanity. Maybe it can do the same for you. Oh, by the way, nearly slipped my mind. I reached 650 views, guys. So thank you. Thank you for those of you that keep watching. Thank you for those of you that find my videos and actually watch a bit of it. I appreciate you, because I am doing this because I have a passion for teaching and I want to teach people how to crochet. So every time you watch my video, It makes me hope that I'm helping someone learn how to crochet. So yeah guys, I hope you're ready to pick up your crochet hooks, to find the perfect yarn, and to start crocheting.